now at 10. For the first time, we are seeing the man who was shot and killed at a funeral for another family member over the weekend.
And his accused killer is his own great aunt. 67-year-old Queen Smith Jackson is accused of shooting 22-year-old Eric Hubert. Police say she told them it was accidental and she was only trying to break up a fight.
However, some family members are disputing that tonight. ABC 13 reporter Daniela Hurtado is live from the jail tonight where that woman is. Daniela?
Matter of fact, I will contact y'all to let y'all know the full story. She shot him in the back of the head and I witnessed it.
This video happened about 2 weeks ago, actually. And I wasn't going to do a video about this, but I find it to be important to go ahead and speak on this. Some of y'all, when a family member dies, instead of you getting emotional about the death of a family member and not seeing them any longer, you focus on other things, like the young man said to his uncle that he was fake. And then the great auntie carrying a gun to the funeral, in the meantime trying to break up an argument between, I'm assuming, the uncle and the 22-year-old, and she pulls out a gun. She says it was accidentally. Other people said she did it intentionally. At the end of the day, the 22-year-old is now deceased at his grandfather's funeral. So now this family is having to plan a second funeral because some people woke up that morning with the wrong agenda of going to a funeral. This is just damn ridiculous. Who takes a gun to a funeral, number one, and who goes to a funeral to have an argument at the funeral home about whatever the situation is in the family? And I find this to be happening quite often when people die. If you're not arguing over things that they left behind, money, or something else that's going on in the family, it's stupid. You end up with a stupid situation that's carrying a very large consequence because now you have a grandfather dead, a great-grandson dead, and a great auntie in jail at 67 years old. Need to be at home somewhere baking some cookies and a cake or something. On the creek somewhere fishing. Quit going to these funerals with the wrong agenda. The agenda is to mourn the loss of your loved one and to make sure that their bodies are put to rest at ease and peacefully. It's not about you going to a funeral, getting into an argument with somebody and having a fight and then a gun being pulled. I hope, some of you out there who don't know how to control yourself, this video is for you. Learn how to control your damn self wherever you are. Things are out of control just because people are out of control. Quit trying to take things in the hands of yourself. Mind your own business. That would be good too. Here goes the rest of the damn video. And y'all get yourself together. Shooting and killing, fighting and stuff at a damn funeral. Don't make no damn sense. Welcome to Straddled Events. On this channel, we bring you the truth. Sometimes the truth is quite ugly, unbearable, and you just don't want to deal with it. But on this channel, you're gonna get it anyway. You are straddled the fence of good versus evil, right versus wrong. And on this channel, we're going to tell you to do better. Please like, dislike, subscribe, and share the videos. Now let's go.
A woman who tells us they didn't want to show their face in fear of retaliation. They tell us, rather, they believe Jackson should be facing stronger charges in connection to the shooting death of 22-year-old Eric Hubert, who many knew and loved by his nickname, Noonie.
He wasn't a throwaway. He was a lovable person, stood out of trouble, stood out of the way. He said he never wanted to be around negative things. He did everything right.
Nooney, identified as the man who lost his life over the weekend, was at his grandfather's funeral mourning his death when he lost his own life.
That's clear. We have a family fighting and one person shot on the ground.
Queen Smith Jackson, the victim's great aunt, is accused of pulling the trigger that ultimately killed the 22-year-old. Court records reveal Jackson told police she pulled out a gun to shoot it in the air to stop a fight between her family members, but it didn't fire.
Who brings a gun to a funeral? Who does that?
Court documents detailed Jackson told police she lowered the gun and pointed it away from her when the gun went off and hit Nooney. Some loved ones tell ABC 13 they feel it was intentional. Loved ones we spoke to say the disagreement started when Nooney told his uncle to stop being fake, since he believed he was never there for his grandfather. They say the argument then escalated, Nooney unfortunately losing his life.
He gonna be missing. He impact a lot of lives. He truly gonna be missed.
Jackson's next hearing is set for June 5th. In Houston, Daniela Hurtado, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
At a funeral home this weekend leaves a family planning yet another funeral. Police arrested 67-year-old Queen Jackson, and she now faces manslaughter charges. Jackson was in court today. Anayeli Ruiz joins us live outside the jail with the latest on that story. Anayeli.
Well, Jackson is accused of shooting and killing her 22-year-old great nephew in the head, and it all happened during her brother's funeral. A family mourning the death of their loved one now has to bury a second family member. The woman accused of the crime is 67-year-old Queen Jackson, who now faces manslaughter charges.
Defendant states she intended to stop a verbal argument.
According to records, it happened at Jackson's brother's memorial service Saturday morning at this funeral home near Tidwell and 45 North. Investigators say a fight started inside and spilled outside. That's when they say Jackson pulled out her handgun from her purse
And fired it into the air. She stated she attempted to fire it. The gun failed to discharge. She lowers it and held it in her hand, pointed away from her, and the gun struck the 22-year-old complainant on the side of his head.
Records say she shot and killed 22-year-old Eric Hubert, her brother's grandson.
She shot him in the back of the head and I witnessed it.
But records say there are conflicting points of view. Some family members believe it was not intentional, while others say it was.
The thing was a murder. It was a murder.
We've reached out to the funeral home to find out if they have any surveillance video, but they tell us they do not. In the meantime, this 67-year-old grandmother now faces manslaughter charges as investigators try to piece together how one funeral service led to another death in the family. We did learn that Jackson is currently a bus driver at Sheldon ISD. We also learned her bond was set at $50,000, and her family was trying to come up with some money to be able to bond her out. Now, we also know she is not to have any contact with her great nephew's family. Reporting live, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
All right, thank you so much, Anayeli.